Welcome to the Luminara Mindset, Chapter 81, The Practice of Detachment. We now cross a new threshold. We have done the deep work of cultivating our inner world and building a framework for a purposeful life. We now enter the final and most advanced phase of our journey, expansion and integration. We begin this phase with what may be the most profound and paradoxical practice of all, the practice of detachment. Here is the great paradox of conscious creation. To truly and effectively manifest your desires, you must pour your whole heart and soul into your vision, while at the same time being completely and utterly unattached to the specific outcome. You must want it with all your being, but you must not need it to be happy or whole. This can sound like a contradiction, but in this paradox lies the key to true freedom and effortless creation. First, let us be absolutely clear about what detachment is not. Detachment is not indifference. It is not apathy. It is not a state of being cold, uncaring, or passionless. That is a low-frequency state of a closed heart. True spiritual detachment is a very high-frequency state of profound trust. It is an open heart that cares deeply, that participates fully, that loves completely, but that gracefully releases the need to control the outcome. The source of almost all of our human suffering is not the events of our lives, but our attachment to how we think those events should be. We suffer not because we didn't get the promotion, but because we were desperately attached to getting it. We suffer in a relationship not because of the other person's behavior, but because we are rigidly attached to a fantasy of who we think they should be. Attachment is the ego's white-knuckled grip on a specific outcome, born from the fear that our happiness and well-being depend on it. Detachment is the gentle, loving act of loosening that grip. Energetically, this practice is a game changer. Attachment creates a needy, grasping, anxious energy. It is a frequency of lack. I will not be okay until I have this. And according to the law of resonance, this frequency of lack actually pushes away the very thing we desire. Detachment, on the other hand, comes from a place of wholeness. It is a frequency of trust and abundance. I would love for this to happen, but my joy and my worth are already complete, right now. This light, open, and trusting energy is a powerful magnet, allowing our desires to flow to us with ease and grace. So how do we cultivate this state of empowered surrender? The foundation of all detachment is to anchor your worth internally. The reason we get so attached to external outcomes is that we have made our sense of worthiness conditional upon them. The deep self-love and self-acceptance work we have done is the prerequisite. When you know on a cellular level that you are inherently worthy and whole, regardless of your successes or failures, the outcomes become a preference, not a necessity. Next, you must focus on the process, not the prize. As we've discussed, you must fall in love with the journey. Pour your heart into the daily practice, the writing, the creating, the serving. Find your joy in the doing, not just in the fantasized result. When you are fully present with the process, you are naturally detached from the future outcome. A beautiful practice is to hold your desires loosely. You can absolutely use visualization and affirmations to clarify your desire. But once you have done that, you must release it. Imagine placing your desire into a beautiful, shimmering bubble. Infuse it with love and gratitude. And then, watch as you gently release it to the sky, offering it up to the universe with complete trust. And you can anchor this trust with a powerful mantra. This or something better. When you find yourself obsessing over a specific outcome, gently repeat to yourself, I am open to this, or something better for my highest good. This statement is a profound act of faith. It honors your desire while simultaneously acknowledging that the universe may have a plan for you that is even grander and more beautiful than the one your limited mind can currently conceive. Detachment is the ultimate act of faith in the flow of life. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to practice the art of surrender. In your journal, identify one outcome in your life that you are feeling particularly attached to, anxious about, or trying to control. Write a letter about it to the universe, to God, to life itself. Pour out all your hopes, your fears, and your desires onto the page. At the very end of the letter, write this declaration. I now surrender this desire to you with love and trust. I am open to this outcome or something even better for my highest good. Feel the energetic release in your body as you let it go. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset, Chapter 82, Surrendering to Divine Timing. We have learned the powerful practice of detachment, the art of pouring our hearts into our desires while releasing our white-knuckled grip on the outcome. Today, we will deepen this practice of surrender by exploring one of its most challenging and beautiful aspects, trusting in divine timing. Our ego, our conscious mind, has a very linear and impatient relationship with time. It sets a goal, creates a plan, and establishes a firm timetable. It believes it knows the best and fastest way for things to happen. When reality does not comply with this self-imposed schedule, the ego becomes frustrated, anxious, and filled with doubt. It is the perpetual, restless passenger in the back seat asking, "Are we there yet?" The soul, however, understands a different kind of time. It understands that there is a larger, intelligent, and benevolent rhythm to the unfolding of our lives. This is divine timing. It is the profound wisdom that things do not happen just when we want them to, but when all the necessary pieces are perfectly in place, and most importantly, when we are truly ready to receive them. We can see this perfect, patient wisdom all around us in nature. Here in the Northeast, as we settle into the rhythm of this cool October evening, we see the trees are not stressed about their schedule. They do not try to hold on to their leaves out of fear, nor do they try to force the coming of winter. They trust the deep, innate wisdom of the seasons. A seed planted in the ground does not sprout the next day, no matter how much we may will it to. It needs time to germinate in the darkness. It needs the right conditions of soil and rain. It follows an intelligent timeline that is far wiser than our impatience. So too, do our most cherished dreams. This is a radical reframe for the mind. It asks us to see what we perceive as delays or obstacles, not as problems, but as potential blessings. From a higher perspective, a delay is often a form of divine protection or preparation. Perhaps that no you received was actually a loving redirection, closing a door to a path that was not truly for you, in order to guide you to an even more magnificent, open door you have not yet seen. Perhaps that period of waiting, where nothing seems to be happening, is actually a crucial incubation period. It may be the sacred pause you need to develop a skill, to gain more experience, or to cultivate the emotional maturity required to handle the very success you are calling in. We must be able to hold the blessings we ask for, and that holding capacity is often built in the waiting. To surrender to divine timing is not a practice of passive waiting. It is not about sitting back and doing nothing. It is a state of active surrender. First, you continue to do your part. You show up and lay your brick every day. You take the next small, inspired action. You tend to your own energy and your own mindset. You do the work that is in front of you to do. Then, you consciously recognize and release control. When you feel that familiar, anxious energy of the ego's impatience rising, the worry, the doubt, the frustration, you pause. You place a hand on your heart. You take a deep breath, and you can say to yourself a simple mantra: I trust the timing of my life. You are gently reassuring the fearful part of your mind that a wisdom far greater than its own is at the helm. And finally, you learn to look for the gift in the in-between. This time of waiting is not empty. It is rich with its own purpose. Ask yourself, what is this period of waiting making available to me? Is it a chance to deepen your relationships? A chance to master a new skill? A chance to simply rest and restore your energy? The in-between is never a void. It is always an invitation. To surrender to divine timing is the ultimate expression of faith. It is the profound peace that comes from the deep, embodied knowing that a loving, intelligent universe is co-creating your life with you, and that everything is unfolding in its own perfect and beautiful time. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to find evidence of divine timing in your own past. In your journal, look back on your life and identify a time when a delay, a rejection, or what you thought was a wrong turn actually ended up being a profound blessing in disguise. A time when you didn't get what you wanted, only to realize later that it made space for something even better. Write about this experience to tangibly remind yourself that the universe has always had your back. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 83, Connecting with Your Spirit Guides / Intuition. As we deepen our practice of surrender and trust, we now open ourselves to a beautiful and comforting truth. You are not, and have never been, alone on this journey. You are surrounded at all times by a team of unseen, benevolent support. This support system goes by many names across many traditions: spirit guides, guardian angels, ancestors, or, if you prefer, the higher, wiser aspect of your own consciousness, your higher self, your intuition. The specific name you choose is far less important than your willingness to open to the connection. I invite you to use whatever framework feels most comfortable and resonant for you. Whether you see them as non-physical beings assigned to assist you on your earthly journey, as the loving spirits of ancestors who have walked before you, or simply as a personification of your own deepest wisdom, the truth remains the same. There's a source of higher, loving guidance available to you in every single moment. This guidance rarely arrives as a booming voice from the heavens. Its language is far more subtle, gentle, and personal. It speaks to you through the channels we have already begun to explore. It speaks to you as intuition, that quiet gut feeling, that instantaneous knowing that arises before your logical mind has a chance to analyze it. It speaks to you through synchronicity, the meaningful coincidences and cosmic winks that seem to perfectly align to guide your path. We will dedicate our entire next chapter to this magical language. It speaks to you in your dreams. In the dream state, when the ego is at rest, your guides and your higher self can communicate with you through the rich symbolic language of your subconscious, offering solutions, revealing hidden feelings, and providing reassurance. And it speaks to you through inspired ideas, those sudden aha moments, or brilliant ideas that seem to come out of nowhere when you are relaxed and not trying to figure things out. It can even speak through signs and symbols in your waking life. A repeating number sequence you see everywhere, a feather that appears on your path at a pivotal moment, a song that comes on the radio with the exact lyrics you needed to hear. There is, however, one fundamental rule to this divine relationship, a rule based on the universal law of free will. Your spiritual support team honors your journey and your choices completely. They cannot and will not intervene, interfere, or offer guidance unless you give them permission. The simple, humble, and powerful act of asking for help is the key that unlocks the door to their assistance. So how do we consciously connect and ask for this guidance? The process is one of simple, heartfelt intention. First, you must get quiet. You cannot hear a whisper in a hurricane. The first step is always to quiet the noise of the external world and the chatter of your own mind. This is why a daily meditation practice is so invaluable. Next, you set the intention. You can do this silently or aloud. Simply state, I now open myself to the loving guidance of my highest, wisest guides and my own higher self. Then, you ask a clear question. Be specific. Instead of a vague, what should I do with my life? Try something more focused, like, please provide clarity on the next right step for my creative project. Or, please help me to see this difficult situation with eyes of love and wisdom. After you ask, you must listen and observe with an open heart. The answer may not come immediately in your meditation. It may come as a feeling of peace, an inspired idea that pops into your head an hour later, a dream that night, or a synchronicity the next day. Your job is not to force an answer, but to become a curious and open observer of your life, trusting that the guidance will arrive in the perfect form and at the perfect time. And finally, always express gratitude. A simple, heartfelt, thank you for your guidance and support deepens the connection and acknowledges the beautiful, co-creative partnership you are in. To open yourself to the reality of your spiritual support system is a profound act of humility and trust. It is the ultimate release of the ego's belief that it has to figure everything out on its own. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to open the lines of communication. In your journal, write a letter. You can address it to my wise and loving guides, my higher self, or whatever feels right to you. In the letter, pour out a current challenge you are facing, or a question that is on your mind. Then, end the letter with this beautiful request. I am open to receiving your clear and gentle guidance in whatever way is for my highest good. Thank you. For the next few days, pay extra, mindful attention to your intuition, your dreams, and any signs or synchronicities that appear. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 84. Synchronicity. Messages from the universe. We have opened ourselves to the possibility of receiving guidance from the unseen realms. Now we will learn to recognize one of the most magical and delightful ways that guidance is delivered. We are here to explore the beautiful and mysterious language of the universe, the language of synchronicity. The term was coined by the great psychologist Carl Jung. A synchronicity is a meaningful coincidence. It is the experience of two or more events that are not causally related, meaning one did not cause the other. Yet their occurrence together feels so meaningful and so perfectly timed that it seems to be more than just random chance. It is the universe winking at you. You have almost certainly experienced this in your life. It's thinking of an old friend you haven't spoken to in 10 years, and then your phone rings, and it's them. It's wrestling with a specific difficult question in your mind, and then you walk past a bookstore, and the title of a book in the window seems to be the exact answer you were looking for. It's seeing the same number sequence, like 1111 or 444, over and over again during a period of significant life change. It's asking for a sign about whether you should take a new job, and then on your drive home, you see a billboard with the word leap on it. These are not just random, meaningless coincidences. They are messages. They are the universe, your guides, and your own higher self, communicating with you through the symbolic language of your reality. Synchronicity often serves two primary functions. First, it can act as confirmation. When you have just made a big decision or have started down a new path that feels both exciting and scary, a series of synchronicities can feel like a green light from the universe. It is a loving wink of encouragement that says, yes, you are on the right path. Keep going. It is a confirmation that you are in flow with the larger intelligence of life. Synchronicity can also act as guidance. It can gently nudge you in a particular direction. If you keep hearing about a certain city, a certain teacher, or a certain book from multiple completely unrelated sources in a short period of time, that is a powerful signal. It is the universe highlighting something for you, inviting you to get curious and to investigate further. So how do we cultivate more of this magic in our lives? The wonderful truth is that synchronicity is happening around us all the time. The key is not to make it happen, but to become a better observer of it. First, you must set intentions and ask questions. As we learned in our last chapter, when you put a clear question or intention out into the universe, you are priming your own awareness to notice the answers. You are tuning your radio to a specific station, which makes it much easier to hear the messages that are being broadcast. Second, and this is crucial, you must be present and observant. You cannot notice the subtle winks from the universe if you are walking through the world lost in the chatter of your mind or staring down at your phone. The practice of mindfulness, of being present in your body and aware of your surroundings, is the fertile ground in which synchronicity is noticed. The magic is in the details. Third, you must let go of attachment. This is the great paradox. The more you desperately hunt for signs and synchronicities, the more they seem to hide. This is because the energy of desperate seeking is a low-frequency state of lack and doubt. Synchronicities flow most freely when you are in a state of relaxed trust, curiosity, and playfulness. You do your inner work. You ask your question, and then you let it go, trusting that the answer will appear in its own perfect way. Finally, when you do notice a synchronicity, take a moment to acknowledge it and give thanks. You don't have to tell anyone. Just a simple, silent, inner smile and a feeling of, I see that, thank you, is enough. This act of acknowledgement strengthens your connection. It is you winking back at the universe, letting it know that you are listening. The world is not a cold, random, and meaningless place. It is a living, intelligent, and magical field of consciousness that is constantly engaged in a beautiful dialogue with you. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to start a synchronicity log in your journal. The intention is not to hunt for signs, but simply to become a better noticer. At the end of each day, reflect and ask, were there any small, meaningful coincidences today? It could be a song on the radio, a conversation you overheard, or an animal you saw. Write them down without needing to know their full meaning. Just practice the art of noticing the magic that is already woven into your days. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset, Chapter 85, Intuitive Decision-Making. We have learned to open ourselves to the whispers of our intuition, to recognize the synchronicities, and to connect with our own inner guidance. Now we will learn to take this subtle awareness and place it at the very center of our lives. We are here to explore the art of intuitive decision-making. In every moment of choice, we have access to two profound forms of intelligence. The first is the intelligence of the head, of our logical, analytical mind. This is the faithful servant that gathers data, makes pro and con lists, analyzes past experiences, and projects potential future outcomes based on what is already known. It is an incredibly powerful and necessary tool for navigating our complex world. The second is the intelligence of the heart and gut, the voice of our intuition. This intelligence does not operate on linear logic. It doesn't present spreadsheets or 5-point arguments. It communicates through a holistic, felt sense, a deep, instantaneous knowing about the energetic rightness of a choice. It has access to a much wider field of information than the logical mind, perceiving the subtle energies and potentials that lie beneath the surface of the facts. The goal of a spiritually integrated life is not to abandon the logical mind in favor of the intuition. The goal is to create a beautiful partnership between them. As Albert Einstein is quoted as saying, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant." We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Our work is to restore the sacred gift to its rightful place as the wise and loving guide of our lives. We use our logic to gather the data and narrow down the options, but we allow our intuition to make the final choice. To do this, we must become exquisitely attuned to the language of our own body. Your body is the resonant instrument through which your intuition speaks. You must learn to feel the difference between your energetic yes and your energetic no. A clear, intuitive yes almost always feels like an expansion in the body. It can manifest as a feeling of lightness, a warmth or opening in your chest, a sudden sense of calm and peace, a feeling of excitement, or a quiet, simple sense of course. It feels like a green light, a gentle opening, a flow forward. A clear, intuitive no almost always feels like a contraction. It can manifest as a knot in your stomach, a tightness in your throat or chest, a feeling of dread, a subtle sense of repulsion, or a loud internal feeling of something is off here. It feels like a red light, a door closing, a subtle pushing away. And what about when the feeling is murky, anxious, or confused? This is also a clear signal. This is your intuition saying, maybe, or not yet, or I don't have enough information. A true, clear, intuitive yes is calm and peaceful, even if it's exciting. Anxious, frenetic energy is usually the ego, driven by fear or a sense of urgency. When you feel that confused energy, the wisest action is to pause, gather more information, and wait for clarity. Let's walk through a simple practice you can use for any decision, big or small. First, find a quiet space. Get centered. Take several deep, calming breaths to quiet the chatter of your mind. Second, clearly state the choice you are considering. For example, I am considering accepting this new job offer. Now, for the third step, you will try on the first option. Close your eyes and in your imagination, fully step into the reality of having made that choice. Imagine it is a month from now and you have accepted the job. Don't think about it. Feel it. What are the physical sensations in your body? Do you feel a sense of expansion in your chest? A feeling of excitement? Or do you feel a subtle knot in your stomach? A sense of heaviness? Just notice without judgment. Fourth, you will consciously reset. Take a deep breath and shake it off. Come back to a neutral, present state. Now, for the fifth step, you will try on the other option. Close your eyes again. In your imagination, fully step into the reality where you have politely declined the job offer, choosing to stay where you are or wait for something else. Again, don't analyze it. Just feel it. How does this reality feel in your body? Does it feel like a profound sense of relief and peace? Or does it feel like a missed opportunity and a sense of contraction? The final step is to trust the felt sense. Your body does not lie. The option that brought the greater sense of expansion, peace, and lightness is the one that is most in alignment with your higher self. Learning to trust this inner compass, to honor its subtle signals above the loud demands of your ego or the opinions of others, is a profound act of self-trust. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to practice this with low-stakes decisions. It could be as simple as, should I go for a walk or read a book tonight? Or, which of these 2 healthy meals should I make for dinner? Before you decide with your mind, pause. Take a breath. Feel into each option in your body for 10 seconds. Which one feels even slightly more expansive or lighter? Go with that one. The goal is to build the muscle of listening to your body's wisdom in small, everyday choices. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 86, Advanced Manifestation Techniques. We have explored the foundational laws of manifestation, understanding vibration, taking aligned action, and surrendering to the divine flow. Now that we have mastered the basics, we are ready to play in the quantum field with more nuance, more joy, and more power. Today, we will explore a few advanced techniques for conscious creation. These are not about trying harder or forcing things to happen. In fact, they are the opposite. They are about deeper levels of surrender, embodiment, and playful alignment. Our first advanced technique is called scripting. This is the practice of writing a journal entry from the perspective of your future self, who has already beautifully and effortlessly manifested your desire. You write it in the past tense, as if you are looking back with gratitude. For example, instead of affirming, "I will find a new home," you would take out your journal, date it 6 months in the future, and begin to write, "I am sitting here in the living room of my new home, and my heart is so full of gratitude. I remember when I was first looking, and I can't believe how perfectly everything unfolded. The neighborhood is even better than I imagined, and the light that comes through this window in the morning is just magical." The key to scripting is to focus on the feelings. Write about the feeling of relief, of joy, of gratitude, of peace. By writing it down in this way, you are doing 2 things. You are sending a clear message to your subconscious mind that this is a done deal, and you are generating the precise emotional frequency of the wish already fulfilled, which is the most powerful magnet for its creation. Our second technique is a beautifully light and playful practice called the "Wouldn't It Be Nice If Moed" game. Sometimes when we have a very big desire, our affirmations and visualizations can feel heavy with pressure and attachment. This game is the antidote It releases resistance by turning the desire into a light, wondrous possibility instead of a desperate need. You simply start your sentences with the phrase, wouldn't it be nice if that perfect client just called me out of the blue? Wouldn't it be nice if I found the perfect airfare for that trip? Wouldn't it be nice if this situation resolved itself with ease and grace? Can you feel the energy of that phrase? It is playful. It is full of wonder. It has zero resistance. There is no attachment, no grasping, no neediness. It is a pure, high-frequency state of optimistic possibility, which is an incredibly fertile ground for manifestation. Our third technique is a deepening of the act as if principle. This is not about faking it. It is about embodiment. It is about closing the vibrational gap between who you are now and who you are becoming. The question to ask is, what are the daily habits, mindsets, and behaviors of the person who already has what I desire? Then, you begin to adopt those habits and behaviors now, to the best of your ability. If you desire to be a healthy, vibrant person, you don't wait until you lose the weight to start acting like one. You ask, what does a healthy, vibrant person do? They drink plenty of water. They move their body with joy. They get enough sleep. You start doing those things today. You are not faking being healthy. You are becoming healthy through your actions. You are aligning your physical reality with your desired identity. And our final, most advanced technique is the radical practice of releasing the how. Your conscious mind, with its limited perspective, can only see a few possible paths to your desire. The universe, with its infinite intelligence, can see billions of paths. Our obsession with figuring out how our desire will manifest is the primary form of control and mistrust that blocks its arrival. The advanced practice is to become exquisitely focused on the what and the why, while declaring the how to be none of your business. Your job is to hold the vision and the feeling. The universe's job is to orchestrate the miracles. Advanced manifestation is less about doing more and more about being more. It is the art of becoming a playful, trusting, and powerful co-creator with the universe. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to practice scripting. Choose one beautiful desire you are cultivating. In your journal, write a one-page entry dated for a time in the near future, perhaps 3 or 6 months from now. Write as if your desire has already come to fruition in the most wonderful and surprising way. Describe the details, but most importantly, describe how you feel. Immerse yourself in the feelings of joy, gratitude, and relief. Have fun with it. Let your imagination play. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 87, Working with Archetypes. We have journeyed deep into our personal psychology, our energy, and our spiritual connection. Now we will expand our understanding of the self by exploring the universal patterns that shape all of our lives. We are here to learn the art of working with archetypes. The concept of archetypes was brought into modern psychology by the great Swiss psychiatrist, Carl Jung. An archetype is a universal, primordial pattern, symbol, or character type that exists in what Jung called the collective unconscious, the shared, inherited psychic reservoir of all humanity. Think of them as the original blueprints for human experience. They are the recurring characters that appear in every myth, every fairy tale, every religion, and every movie across all cultures and all of time. Their stories are so powerful because they are our stories. They are the deep, underlying patterns that are playing out in our own lives, whether we are conscious of it or not. Let's meet a few of these universal characters. There is the hero, who embarks on a journey, overcomes great obstacles, and returns with a gift for the community. There is the sage or the wise elder, whose driving force is the pursuit of truth, knowledge, and wisdom. There is the innocent or the inner child, who embodies optimism, trust, wonder, and a connection to the simple joys of life. There is the rebel or the outlaw, who challenges the status quo, breaks outdated rules, and carves a new path. There is the magician or the alchemist, who understands the laws of the universe and uses them to transform reality and create miracles. There is the lover, who is driven by connection, intimacy, passion, and the desire for union. And there is the caregiver, the nurturer, whose greatest gift is compassion and service to others. This is just a small sample. The list is endless. The key understanding is that you are not just one of these archetypes. You are a unique and beautiful constellation of all of them. Within you exists a courageous hero, a wise sage, a joyful inner child, and a powerful magician. Part of our life's journey is to become aware of which of these archetypal energies we most naturally embody and which ones lie dormant within us, waiting to be activated. So how do we work with these powerful energies? First is identification. Get curious. Which of these archetypes do you most naturally express in your life? Are you a natural caregiver? A born rebel? Also, which archetypes do you find yourself deeply admiring in others? In books, in films, or in real life? That strong admiration is often a klutsu, your soul recognizing a dormant archetype within you that is longing for expression. Second is the practice of conscious activation. Once you are aware of these energies, you can consciously call upon them when you need them. If you are facing a frightening challenge, you can pause and ask, how would the hero within me approach this situation? If you are stuck on a creative problem, you can ask, what would the magician within me do to transform this? This is not about being inauthentic. It is about accessing the full spectrum of your own inner resources. You are inviting a different part of your own consciousness to step forward and lead. Finally, the deeper work involves integrating the shadow. Every archetype has a light side and a shadow side. The hero's shadow is the arrogant bully or the self-pitying victim. The magician's shadow is the deceitful manipulator. The caregiver's shadow is the martyr who gives from a place of resentment. True wholeness does not come from only living in the light aspects of our archetypes. It comes from having the courage to look at, understand, and compassionately integrate our shadow aspects as well. Working with archetypes is a profound tool for self-understanding. It helps you to see that your personal struggles are not just personal, they are universal. You are playing out a part in the great, timeless stories of humanity. It gives you access to a rich and powerful palette of energies, allowing you to move beyond the limitations of your personality and step into the full, mythic grandeur of your soul. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to explore your own archetypal landscape. In your journal, look at the list of archetypes we discussed. First, write about the one that you feel is your most dominant, natural energy. Then, identify one archetype that feels dormant within you, but is calling for expression in this season of your life. Write about how consciously activating that dormant energy could help you with a current goal or challenge you are facing. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset, Chapter 88, The Art of Co-Creation. We have explored the principles of manifestation learning to align our energy with our desires. Today, we will evolve our understanding of this process, moving beyond the idea of manifesting and into the much more nuanced and powerful art of co-creation. The term manifesting can sometimes imply a one-way street, a process where we, through the force of our will, impose our desires upon a passive universe. Co-creation, however, suggests a partnership. It implies a sacred collaborative dance with an intelligent, benevolent, and infinitely creative force that is working with you and for you. To understand this dance, we must first understand the roles of the two dancers. Your role as the human creator is to be the vessel of clarity, focus, and action. Your job is to do the deep inner work of getting crystal clear on the essence of what you wish to create. It is to focus not just on the external form, but on the why, the core feeling, and the soul-aligned value that the desire represents. Your job is to then hold that vision, to fuel it with the high-frequency emotions of love and gratitude, and to bravely take the inspired, aligned actions as they are presented to you. You set the destination, you tend to your ship, and you are the one who works the sails in the rudder. The universe's role as the divine creator is one of orchestration, timing, and flow. The universe is the wind and the currents. It has the vantage point of the entire ocean. It knows the path of least resistance. It can see all the other ships on the water, all the weather patterns, all the hidden islands of opportunity that you cannot possibly perceive from your limited view. Its job is to manage the infinite, complex variables, to arrange the synchronicities, and to present the how and the when in the most magical and efficient way possible. A life of struggle is one where the sailor tries to control the wind. A life of flow is one where the sailor learns to dance with the wind. This dance of co-creation is built on a few core principles. First is clarity of intention. You must be a clear channel. The universe cannot respond effectively to a fuzzy, contradictory signal. The inner work of knowing your values and setting soulful goals is what allows you to send a coherent request. Second is elevated emotion. As we've learned, the universe responds to your feeling state. You must be willing to generate the feelings of your wish fulfilled in advance. This gratitude and joy is the magnetic charge, the call that goes out into the quantum field. Third is inspired action. You must be a willing and active dance partner. You cannot simply set the sail and then go to sleep. You must keep your hands on the rudder, stay present, and be ready to move when the wind shifts. This is the practice of meeting the universe halfway. And finally, and this is the heart of co-creation, is radical trust and surrender. You must trust your dance partner. After you have made your intention clear, after you have aligned your energy and taken your next right step, you must release your desperate need to control the process. You must trust that your partner, the universe, is a master choreographer and has your highest good at heart. You must be open to the possibility that the way your desire unfolds might be even more beautiful and perfect than the way your ego had planned. As we move deeper into this autumn season, we can see this co-creative dance all around us. The farmer had the clear intention for a harvest. They did their part. They planted the seeds. They tended the soil. But they did not make the sun shine. They did not command the rain to fall. They entered into a partnership with the vast, intelligent forces of nature. And through that co-creative dance, the harvest is made manifest. This is the art of co-creation. It is the graceful, powerful, and deeply peaceful balance between doing everything in your power and then surrendering to the wisdom of that which is beyond your power. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to clarify your role in a co-creative partnership. In your journal, choose one goal you are currently working towards. Draw a line down the middle of a page. On the left side, title it, My Responsibilities. List the things that are truly in your control: your clarity of vision, your emotional state, the small inspired actions you can take. On the right side, title it, The Universe's Responsibilities. List the things you must surrender, the exact timing, the specific how, the actions of other people. This exercise can bring profound clarity and relief. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 89, Dealing with External Criticism. As we step more fully into a life of purpose, as we begin to take inspired action and share our unique gifts with the world, we will inevitably encounter an experience that can test the very foundation of our self-worth, the experience of external criticism. Let this be your anchor. If you choose to live a bold, authentic, and visible life, you will be criticized. It is not a question of if, but when. The goal of a spiritual path is not to create a life where you are never judged, but to cultivate an inner state of such profound self-acceptance that the judgments of others no longer have the power to derail you. The first and most important step in developing a healthy relationship with criticism is to learn how to filter the feedback. Not all opinions are created equal. You must first ask yourself, is this criticism coming from someone who is also in the arena, as Dr. Brené Brown so wisely puts it? Is this person also being brave, creating, and daring to be seen? Or is this feedback coming from the cheap seats, from a spectator who is simply judging and critiquing from a safe and protected distance? A core practice of a courageous life is to learn to gracefully disregard the opinions of those who are not in the arena with you. Next, you must consider the source and the intention. Is this criticism coming from a trusted mentor or a loving friend who has your best interest at heart and is offering feedback to help you grow? Or is it coming from a place of jealousy, misunderstanding, or someone else's unhealed pain? You must learn to discern between constructive feedback and mere projection. This brings us to the mirror principle. It is a profound spiritual truth that what people say about you is almost always more about them than it is about you. Their words are a projection of their own inner world, their own beliefs, their own fears, and their own unhealed wounds. A person who is deeply afraid of taking risks will often criticize your courage. A person who is insecure about their own abundance will often judge your success. When you understand this, you can learn to meet criticism not with defensiveness, but with a quiet, compassionate understanding that you are simply seeing a reflection of another person's inner landscape. So, let's create a compassionate, practical process for the moment when criticism inevitably arrives. Step 1, pause. Do not react. When that critical comment lands, your ego will immediately want to leap to your defense, to attack back, or to crumble in shame. The most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Take one deep, conscious breath. This creates the sacred space between the stimulus and your response. Step 2, practice self-compassion. Before you analyze the criticism, turn your attention inward. Place a hand on your heart. Acknowledge the feeling. Ouch, that stung. Validate your own emotional experience first. Offer yourself the kindness and reassurance that you might seek from the outside. Step 3. Consider the source and look for the kernel of truth. After you have centered yourself, you can look at the feedback with curiosity. If, and only if, it is from a trusted source who is in the arena with you, you can ask, is there a 1% kernel of truth here that could be a valuable lesson for my growth? You do not have to accept the entire emotionally charged package, but sometimes, even in harsh feedback, there's a data point you can use. Step 4. Gracefully release the rest. Anything that is not a helpful data point, anything that you have identified as projection, bitterness, or something that is simply not in alignment with your own inner truth, you must consciously and intentionally release. Visualize it as water rolling off your back. See it as an arrow that you refuse to pick up and stab yourself with. It is not yours to carry. Ultimately, your own intuition, your own core values, and your own inner knowing are the supreme court. You are the ultimate authority on your own life and your own work. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to practice taking your power back from a past hurt. Recall a piece of criticism you received in the past that has stuck with you. In your journal, compassionately run it through our 4-step process. 1. Acknowledge how it made you feel. 2. Consider the source and their likely intention. 3. Look for any tiny kernel of a lesson, if there was one. 4. Write a declaration of release, consciously letting go of the 99% that was never yours to carry. This is an act of reclaiming your sovereignty. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 90. Maintaining energetic hygiene. We have journeyed through the vast and subtle worlds of our energy, learning to protect our field and align our vibration. Now we will ground these practices in the simple, non-negotiable art of daily maintenance. We are here to explore the crucial practice of energetic hygiene. Think of it this way. You would never consider going days or weeks without taking a physical shower. You are naturally aware that as you move through the world, your body accumulates dirt, sweat, and grime that needs to be washed away to maintain physical health and comfort. Your energy body is no different. As you move through your day, you are constantly interacting with a sea of different energies. You absorb the stress of a traffic jam, the frantic energy of a crowded store, the residual anger from a difficult meeting, or the sadness from a news report. This is not a personal failure. It is simply the nature of energetic reality. If we do not consciously and regularly cleanse this accumulated energetic grime, it can build up, leaving us feeling heavy, foggy, irritable, and disconnected from our own clear, high vibration state. Energetic hygiene is the daily shower for your soul. It is not something you do only when you feel energetically dirty or negative. It is a preventative practice, a daily act of maintenance that keeps your energy field resilient, clear, and radiant. Let's expand our toolkit of practical daily rituals for maintaining a clear field. These practices can be divided into 3 categories: clearing, grounding, and protecting. First, let's talk about clearing practices. This is the shower part. A salt bath is one of the most ancient and effective methods. Salt is a powerful crystal that has the ability to absorb and neutralize discordant energy. A warm bath with a cup or 2 of Epsom salts or sea salt can beautifully cleanse your aura after a long day. The practice of smudging, used for centuries in indigenous traditions, involves using the smoke from sacred herbs like white sage, palo santo, or cedar to clear your aura and your living space. The smoke attaches to heavy energies and transmutes them. You can also use sound clearing, the high-frequency vibrations from a tool like a crystal singing bowl, a set of tingsha cymbals, or even a simple bell, can be used to literally break up dense, stagnant energy in your field and in your home. Next are grounding practices. After you have cleared your energy, it is important to ground yourself, to reconnect your personal energy to the vast stabilizing energy of the earth. We have spoken of earthing, placing your bare feet on the ground. This is the most direct way to discharge excess, frantic energy and to draw up the calm, healing frequency of the planet. You can also do a simple root chakra meditation. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and visualize roots growing from the base of your spine and the soles of your feet, extending deep, deep into the core of the earth. Feel yourself anchored, stable, and held. Finally, there's the daily practice of protecting. After you have showered and grounded, you put on clean clothes. Energetic protection is like putting on a clean, protective layer for your aura. Making the bubble of light visualization a non-negotiable part of your morning routine is the most powerful habit you can build. It takes just 60 seconds to set a clear, intentional boundary for your energy for the entire day. You can also work with protective crystals. Stones like black tourmaline, smoky quartz, obsidian, or selenite are known for their ability to absorb or repel negative energy, acting as small energetic guardians for your field. You can carry one in your pocket or place it on your desk. The key to all of this is consistency. A 2-minute bubble-up visualization in the morning and a conscious intention to wash off the day in the evening is far more powerful than an elaborate 2-hour ritual done once a month. Choose the simple practices that resonate most with you and weave them into the fabric of your daily life. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to design your own simple, daily, energetic hygiene routine. It doesn't have to be complicated. In your journal, write down 1. What is one small clearing practice I can incorporate into my evening to wash off the day? For example, visualizing a waterfall of light in the shower. 2. What is one small grounding or protection practice I can do in the morning to start my day centered? For example, the bubble of light. Make a gentle commitment to yourself to try this simple routine for a few days. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 91, Setting Healthy Boundaries, Part 2. We have previously explored the vital work of setting healthy boundaries in our relationships, the art of building the fence and tending the gate of our sacred inner garden. Now, as we move into a more advanced understanding of ourselves as energetic beings, we will revisit this practice from a deeper, more subtle perspective. We are moving from the concept of fences to the reality of force fields. The boundaries we explored in Part 1 were largely behavioral, learning to say no, communicating our needs, and protecting our time. The advanced practice of boundary setting is largely internal and energetic. It is about becoming the sovereign guardian of the sacred space of your own consciousness. Let's explore 3 of these advanced internal boundaries. The first is your mental boundary. This is the boundary you learn to set with your own thoughts. As we've learned, you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes them. This means you do not have to engage with every thought that appears in your mind. You are the guardian at the gate of your own mental space, and you get to choose which thoughts you invite in for tea and which ones you politely refuse entry to. When the familiar, critical voice of the ego shows up with its litany of fears and judgments, you do not have to argue with it. You do not have to believe it. You can simply notice it and set a boundary. You can say internally, "Thank you for your concern, but I am not available for this conversation right now." Or, "I see you, thought of worry, but I am choosing to place my focus elsewhere." This is not suppression. It is a conscious and powerful act of redirecting your most precious resource, your attention. The second is your emotional boundary. This is about navigating our empathy with wisdom. It is the art of being a compassionate witness to another person's pain without taking that pain on as your own. Many of us who are sensitive and empathetic can fall into a pattern of emotional sponging, where we absorb the feelings of those around us, leaving us feeling heavy and drained. The analogy to hold here is that of a lifeguard. A lifeguard can feel deep compassion for a person who is drowning. They can enter the water and offer profound help, but at no point can they allow the drowning person to pull them under. They must maintain their own strength, their own buoyancy, in order to be of any real service. To set an emotional boundary is to be the lifeguard. You can sit with a friend in their darkness, hold their hand, and say, "I am here with you in this," while simultaneously visualizing their emotional energy staying with them and your energy staying with you. It is the art of connection without enmeshment. The third advanced boundary is your attentional boundary. This is about protecting your focus from the constant demands of the attention economy. As we've discussed, your attention is your most sacred creative power. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. In our modern world, everything is competing for a piece of your focus. Setting an attentional boundary is the practice of consciously choosing what is worthy of your energy. It is saying no, not just to things you don't want to do, but even to interesting articles, intriguing videos, or good opportunities that are simply not in alignment with your core purpose right now. It is the wisdom to know that to create your most important work, you must be willing to ignore 1,000 other distractions. It is the art of curating the information you consume as carefully as you curate the food you eat. These advanced boundaries are not about pushing the world away. They are about cultivating such a deep, unshakable sense of your own inner center that you can engage with the world from a place of wholeness, not depletion. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to practice setting a mental boundary. For the next few days, become a gentle observer of your own thought patterns. Identify one specific, recurring negative thought loop. Perhaps it is self-criticism or worry about a particular issue. The next time you notice this familiar thought pattern starting, I invite you to pause, take a breath, and silently say to it, "I see you, but I am choosing not to engage with you right now." Then consciously pivot your focus to a physical sensation, like the feeling of your feet on the floor, for 30 seconds. In your journal, write about this experience of being the conscious guardian of your mind. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 92. Cultivating Joy as a Default State. We have done so much deep, important, and sometimes serious work on our journey together. Today, we will turn our attention to one of the most beautiful and sacred destinations of the spiritual path, the cultivation of joy. We are here to explore joy not as a fleeting emotion that we chase, but as a deep inner state of being that we can intentionally cultivate as our natural default state. First, it is helpful to distinguish between happiness and joy. Happiness is a wonderful feeling, but it is often conditional and dependent on external events, We say, I'll be happy when I get that promotion. Or, I'm happy because the sun is shining. Happiness is often a reaction to favorable circumstances. Joy, on the other hand, is unconditional and internal. It is a state of the soul. It is the quiet, radiant sense of well-being that can exist even in the midst of life's challenges. It is the gentle hum of gratitude for the simple, profound miracle of being alive. It does not depend on circumstances, because it is not born of circumstances. It is born from within. I want to propose a radical idea. Joy is not something you need to acquire. It is your birthright. It is your natural state. When you were a small child, joy was your default. The work of a spiritual path is not to find joy, but to gently and lovingly clear away all the layers of fear, of limiting beliefs, of unprocessed pain, and of conditioning that have been obscuring the joy that has been patiently waiting within you all along. So how do we begin to clear the clouds and let our own inner sun shine through? The first and most powerful practice is to become a connoisseur of joyful moments. Joy is most often found not in the grand, dramatic events, but in the small, simple, sensory experiences of the present. The taste of your first sip of coffee in the morning. The feeling of warm sun on your skin. The sound of a beautiful piece of music. The genuine laughter of a child. Our lives are filled with these moments, but our busy minds, ever focused on problems and plans, simply overlook them. The practice is to start noticing. I invite you to start a joy list in your journal. At the end of each day, your only task is to write down 3 small, simple things that brought you a moment of genuine joy. This simple act trains your reticular activating system, your brain's filter, to start actively looking for joy. And what you look for, you will find. Next, we must remember that gratitude is the gateway to joy. As we have learned, gratitude is the fastest path back to a high-frequency state. It is functionally impossible to feel deeply grateful and unhappy in the same moment. A consistent gratitude practice is, at its heart, a joy cultivation practice. It is the art of seeing the blessings that are already here. We must also learn to embody joy. Joy is not just a thought, it is a physical sensation. The next time you experience a moment of pure, unadulterated joy, I invite you to pause. Close your eyes and really feel it. Where do you feel it in your body? Is it a lightness in your chest? An upward curve of your lips? A warmth that spreads through your whole being? Take 30 seconds to consciously savor this physical sensation. This anchors the state of joy in your cellular memory. And finally, we can create joyful rituals. Intentionally schedule small sacred appointments with joy in your week. These are activities that have no productive purpose, no goal other than the experience of delight. It could be a weekly solo dance party in your living room. It could be dedicating an hour to a creative hobby. It could be a walk in your favorite park without your phone. By scheduling joy, you are declaring that it is a non-negotiable priority in your life. As the days grow shorter and the nights longer in this autumn season, it becomes a conscious and beautiful practice to find and cultivate our own inner light. Joy is that light. It is the warm candle flame within your heart that is not dependent on the external weather for its radiance. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to become a collector of joy. In your journal, start a dedicated joy list. Each day, your only task is to notice and write down 3 small specific things that brought you a moment of joy, wonder, or simple pleasure. It could be the color of the autumn leaves, the comfort of your favorite sweater, or a funny text from a friend. The practice is to train your awareness to spot the joy that is already all around you. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 93, Playfulness and Lightness. We have been on a deep and at times very serious journey. We have excavated old wounds, examined limiting beliefs, and built new structures of purpose and discipline. Today, we will balance that profound work with its equally profound and necessary counterpart, the spiritual practice of playfulness and lightness. Our ego, our survival-oriented mind, is an incredibly serious character. It takes everything personally. It carries the weight of the past and the anxiety of the future on its shoulders. It obsesses over problems and is convinced of its own supreme importance. This creates a dense, heavy, and contracted energetic state. The antidote to this self-important seriousness is the high-frequency energy of play. Playfulness is the natural state of your inner child, and it is a direct line to your soul. True play has no goal, no purpose, no metric for success, other than the joy of the activity itself. It is spontaneous, creative, curious, and gloriously non-productive. To be in a state of play is to be in a state of pure presence, of effortless flow. It is one of the highest vibrational states we can experience. Along with play comes its beautiful companion, lightness. The ability to lighten up is a profound spiritual skill. Laughter is a form of energetic clearing. A deep belly laugh can instantly break up stagnant, heavy energy in your chakras and raise your vibration. A healthy sense of humor allows you to see the beautiful absurdity in your own ego's dramas. It allows you to not take yourself or your problems so seriously. It provides the gift of perspective. In many spiritual traditions, there is a misconception that the path must be somber, ascetic, and relentlessly serious. But many of the most enlightened beings are described as having a childlike wonder, a mischievous twinkle in their eye, and a deep, resonant laugh. They understand that the universe, at its core, is playful. Creation is a divine dance. So how do we, as serious adults, reconnect with this vital, joyful part of ourselves? First, we must schedule pointless fun. This can feel radical. Intentionally block out time in your calendar for an activity that has zero productive value. Play a board game, build something with Legos, fly a kite, color in a coloring book, go to a playground and get on the swings. Give yourself permission to do something just because it is fun. Next, you can reconnect with your childhood passions. Look back at that list you made of what you loved to do as a child. What was your favorite form of play? How can you create a modern, adult version of that experience? If you loved to build forts, maybe you can take joy in creating a beautiful, cozy reading nook in your home. If you love to play make-believe, maybe you can take an acting or improv class. You can also practice what I call benevolent mischief. Do something small, silly, and unexpected that breaks the monotony of life. Wear wildly mismatched socks on purpose. Leave an anonymous, happy note on a stranger's car. Surprise a friend with a ridiculous gift. Put on your favorite song and have a spontaneous 30-second dance party in your kitchen. And you can consciously consume laughter. Make it a point to watch a comedy special, to follow a humor account on social media that genuinely makes you laugh, or to spend time with the friend who has the best sense of humor. Laughter is contagious, so expose yourself to it deliberately. To invite play and lightness back into your life is to heal the divide between your responsible adult self and your joyful, creative inner child. It is a declaration that life is not just a problem to be solved, but a beautiful, magical game to be played. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to have a direct conversation with your playful self. In your journal, write a letter to your inner child, or the part of you that is 8 years old. Ask them a simple question. What would be really fun for us to do together this week? Then get quiet and just let your pen flow. Write down whatever ideas, images, or feelings come up, no matter how silly they seem. The goal is to listen to this wise, joyful part of yourself. Then see if you can honor their request with one small, playful action. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 94, Acts of Kindness, Part 2. We have previously explored the beautiful ripple effect of simple acts of kindness. Today we will deepen this practice, moving it from an occasional action that we do into a consistent, energetic state that we are. We are here to learn how to cultivate a heart that is a natural, effortless fountain of loving kindness. In our earlier exploration, we focused on the what of kindness, the specific, tangible actions. Now we turn our attention to the how and the why, the inner state from which we give. There is a spectrum of giving. On one end, there is ego-based giving. This is giving in order to get something in return. We might be kind in order to receive praise, to be seen as a good person, to alleviate our own guilt, or to create a sense of obligation in the other person. This form of giving is transactional. While the action may still be helpful, the energy behind it is rooted in the needs of the ego. On the other end of the spectrum is soul-based giving. This is the expression of true compassion in action. It arises from a genuine feeling of empathy and a recognition of our shared humanity. It is giving for the simple joy of giving, with absolutely no expectation of anything in return. This form of giving is transformational for both the giver and the receiver. The most powerful practice for cultivating this state of soul-based giving is an ancient and beautiful meditation known as metta, or loving kindness meditation. This is the active practice of generating feelings of warmth, kindness, and goodwill, and intentionally directing them from our own hearts. Let's walk through a simple version of this practice together. Find a comfortable posture. Close your eyes and take a few gentle breaths. Bring your awareness to the center of your chest, to your heart chakra. You might even place a hand over your heart. First, we will direct this loving kindness toward ourselves, for we cannot give what we do not possess. In your mind's eye, see yourself, and silently repeat these phrases, truly feeling the intention behind them. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. Now bring to mind a beloved friend, a family member, or a pet, someone for whom it is very easy to feel love. Picture them clearly in your mind. Hold them in your heart and extend these same wishes to them. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you live with ease. Next, bring to mind a neutral person, someone you see in your daily life but don't have strong feelings about. Perhaps a cashier at the grocery store, a neighbor, or a coworker. Picture them in your mind and recognize their humanity, their own desire for happiness, and extend the same wishes. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you live with ease. Now, if you feel ready, you can engage in the most transformative step. Gently bring to mind a difficult person, someone with whom you have friction or conflict. This can be challenging. The goal is not to condone their behavior, but to recognize their own suffering and their own fundamental right to be happy. As best you can, from the wisdom of your heart, offer them these same wishes. Finally, you expand your awareness outward. Imagine this green light of loving kindness radiating from your heart, first filling the room you are in, then your home, your neighborhood, your city. See it expanding to cover the entire country, the entire planet, and finally, extending out into the cosmos, touching every single living being without exception. Hold all of life in your compassionate heart and repeat, may all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be safe. May all beings live with ease. Pausal music swells gently for 15 seconds. This practice, done consistently, rewires your heart for compassion. It also gives you a powerful tool for your daily life. When you find yourself in a moment of judgment or irritation towards another person, you can, in that instant, silently send them a wish for their well-being. May you be peaceful. This simple, internal act instantly shifts your own energy from the contraction of judgment to the expansion of love. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to try a short, loving kindness meditation. You can use the phrases we just practiced or find a guided version online. Afterwards, in your journal, write about the experience. Which part felt the easiest for you? Sending kindness to yourself, a loved one, a neutral person, or a difficult one? What did it feel like to consciously generate these feelings from your own heart? Be a gentle observer of your process. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 95. Universal Love and Connection. We have learned to radiate the energy of loving kindness from our hearts. Now we will take the final, most expansive step on this journey of love. We will move beyond the practice of connection and into the direct realization of our inherent oneness. We are here to explore the truth of universal love. The single greatest illusion of the human experience is the belief that we are separate. Our ego, our sense of a personal self, is built upon this foundation of me versus you, us versus them. We experience ourselves as isolated individuals, contained within our own skin, separate from each other and separate from the world around us. This feeling of separation is the root of all fear, loneliness, and conflict. The great mystics, saints, and spiritual teachers across all traditions have, for millennia, pointed to the same ultimate truth. This separation is an illusion. They use different words, different metaphors, but the message is one. In Hinduism, they speak of Brahman, the one, indivisible, ultimate reality of which we are all a part. In Christianity, they speak of Christ consciousness, the universal awareness that God is within all of us. In Taoism, they speak of the Tao, the single, underlying, natural order of the universe that flows through everything. Imagine the ocean. The ocean has countless waves. Each wave is unique. It has its own form, its own size, its own temporary existence. A wave might look at another wave and think, I am separate from you. But what is the fundamental nature of every single wave? It is the ocean. We are the waves, but our true underlying nature is the one single ocean of consciousness. This is not just a poetic idea. It is supported by our modern understanding of the universe. At the quantum level, Physicists tell us that everything is interconnected in a vast, indivisible web of energy. The atoms that make up your body were forged in the fiery hearts of ancient, long-dead stars. The air you are breathing right now was just in the tree outside your window. The illusion of solid, separate objects dissolves into a unified, vibrating field of potential. The practice of empathy is what allows us to feel our connection to another. The realization of universal love is what allows us to know our inherent oneness. It is the shift from "I feel your pain" to the deeper understanding that your pain is in some way my pain, because you are not separate from me. We are part of the same whole. This realization transforms how we move through the world. It invites us into the practice of seeing the divine in others. As you interact with people, whether it is a loved one or a stranger at the store, you can make it a quiet, internal practice to look for the light within them, to look beyond their personality, their beliefs, their behaviors, and to see the spark of universal consciousness that animates them, the same spark that animates you. This is the very essence of the beautiful Sanskrit greeting, Namaste, which means the divine light in me honors the divine light in you. To live from a place of universal love is to live in a constant state of namaste with all of life. And this love does not stop with humanity. It naturally expands to include all beings, all of existence. You begin to see the divine spark in the eyes of an animal, in the intricate design of a flower, in the silent strength of a mountain. You recognize that you are a part of one sacred, interconnected, and living being that we call Earth. As we look out at the falling leaves of this autumn evening, we see this oneness in action. The individual leaf, which had its unique existence all summer, now lets go, but it does not cease to be part of the forest. It returns to the soil, where it will nourish the roots and become the foundation for all future life. The separation is temporary. The connection is eternal. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is the practice of seeing the light. In your next few interactions today or tomorrow, I invite you to set a silent intention, to look for the spark of goodness or divinity in the person you are speaking with. Look beyond their words and their personality, and try to sense the beautiful soul behind their eyes. Afterwards, in your journal, write about this experience. How did this shift in your inner perspective change how you felt during the interaction? Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 96. The Continuous Journey of Growth. We are drawing near to the end of our structured journey together. We have traversed the vast landscapes of the self, from the depths of the heart to the heights of the crown, from the practical to the mystical. And now, we must address the nature of the path itself. We are here to release the myth of arrival and to embrace the beautiful, sacred truth of the continuous journey of growth. In our goal-oriented culture, it is easy to bring the same mindset to our spiritual path. We can fall into the trap of believing that there is a final destination called healed or enlightened, a magical finish line we can cross, after which all our problems will disappear and we will live in a state of perpetual bliss. This belief, this search for a final endpoint, is a subtle and powerful trick of the ego, and it is the source of much spiritual frustration. The truth is that the spiritual journey is not a straight line from point A to point B. It is a spiral path. Imagine a spiral staircase. As you walk it, you are continually moving upward, but you are also circling back, revisiting the same core themes and lessons from a new and higher vantage point. You will find yourself working on issues of self-worth, of forgiveness, of trust, again and again throughout your life. When an old familiar pattern or trigger reappears, your first thought might be, "Oh no, I thought I healed this. I'm failing." The spiral path perspective invites a different, more compassionate response. This lesson is back. This must mean I am ready to heal it on an even deeper level now. Seeing the old pattern is not a sign of failure. It is a profound sign of your success, a sign of your expanding awareness. To walk this spiral path with grace, we must cultivate what is known in Zen Buddhism as the beginner's mind. The expert's mind is often closed, believing it already knows the answers. The beginner's mind is open, curious, and empty. It is the willingness to look at every moment, every lesson, and every person with fresh eyes, free from the preconceptions of the past. To remain a lifelong student is the only way to remain a lifelong learner. It can also be helpful to see our lives through the metaphor of the seasons of the soul. Just as in nature, our inner world moves through cycles. There will be seasons of spring, times of new beginnings, rapid growth, and fresh inspiration. There will be seasons of summer, times of vibrant expression, of being out in the world, of joy and celebration. There will be seasons of autumn, times of harvest, of letting go of what is no longer needed. And there will be seasons of winter, times of rest, of introspection, of necessary darkness and turning inward. Our culture glorifies the perpetual summer, but all seasons are vital. You do not have to be constantly blooming. The quiet inward journey of winter is just as sacred and necessary as the outward expression of summer. The ultimate goal of this path is not perfection. It is presence. The goal is not to become a flawless human being who never gets angry, never feels sad, and never makes a mistake. The goal is to become a fully conscious human being who can be present with and bring compassion to the entirety of their beautiful, messy human experience. The measure of your growth is not the absence of challenges, but the speed with which you are able to return to your center after you have been knocked off balance. Your journey has no final destination because you are an infinite being. The path is not about arriving. It is about continually, beautifully, and courageously unfolding. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to honor your own spiral path. In your journal, reflect on a core lesson or theme that has appeared multiple times in your life. It could be a pattern in relationships, a recurring fear, or a lesson about your own self-worth. Write about how your understanding of this lesson and your ability to navigate it has changed and deepened over the years. See it not as a repeating failure, but as clear, beautiful evidence of your own journey upward on the spiral. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 97, Teaching and Sharing Your Light. We have walked a long and beautiful path of inner cultivation, tending to the garden of our own soul. We have learned to fill our own cup to the brim with self-love, compassion, and wisdom. Now, we arrive at the natural and joyful final stage of this cycle, allowing our full cup to overflow. We are here to explore the sacred responsibility and the profound gift of teaching and sharing your light. There is an ancient saying, to teach is to learn twice. The act of sharing what you have learned is what solidifies the wisdom within your own being. It is the final crucial step in the process of embodiment. Now, let us immediately release the ego's story about what it means to be a teacher. This is not about standing on a stage, writing a best-selling book, or becoming a guru. You do not need a title or a certificate to be a teacher. You are already teaching. Every single moment of every single day, most powerfully by the example of your own life. The most profound way we teach is simply by being. The way you choose to respond to a stressful situation with a calm breath is a lesson in peace for everyone who witnesses it. The way you practice self-compassion after making a mistake is a lesson in forgiveness. The way you listen with your full presence to a friend is a lesson in connection. Your lived embodiment of these principles is the most authentic and impactful teaching you will ever offer. Another powerful form of teaching is sharing your story. Your personal journey, with all of its struggles, its breakthroughs, its failures, and its triumphs, is one of your most precious gifts. When you have the courage to share your vulnerability and your truth with another, you do two things. You create a profound human connection, and you give the other person permission to be human, too. Your story of navigating the darkness can become the very map that helps someone else find their way back to the light. And sometimes, the greatest teaching is done by asking questions. A true teacher does not seek to provide all the answers. A true teacher knows that every individual holds their own wisdom. They simply learn to ask the loving, open-ended questions that help others to access their own inner truth. Many of us hold back from sharing what we've learned because of a feeling of imposter syndrome. The inner critic whispers, "Who are you to teach? You're not an expert. You haven't figured it all out yet." Here is the truth. You do not have to be at the finish line of a race to help someone who is at the starting line. You only need to be 1 or 2 steps ahead on the path to be a valuable and compassionate guide for someone who is where you used to be. Your experience is your expertise. On this autumn evening, we can think of a single candle burning brightly in a dark room. The purpose of that candle is simply to shine. By shining, it does not diminish its own light. In fact, its highest purpose is fulfilled when it uses its own flame to light the wicks of other candles, until the entire room is filled with a magnificent, collective glow. Your inner light is the same. It is not meant to be hidden or hoarded. It is meant to be shared, freely and joyfully. Whether you share it through your quiet presence, your authentic story, or your creative expression, the act of sharing your light is the natural culmination of this entire journey. It is the fulfillment of your purpose. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation this week is to acknowledge your own inner teacher. In your journal, reflect on the journey we have taken together. What is one core lesson or practice from this series that has genuinely made a positive difference in your life? Now imagine a dear friend came to you, struggling with that exact issue. Write a few paragraphs describing how you would share your experience with them, not as a perfect expert, but as a compassionate friend who has walked that path. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 98, Mindful Reflection and Integration. We are standing at the threshold of our final chapter together. Before we take that last step, it is essential that we honor the journey we have traveled with a moment of sacred pause. In our culture of constant forward momentum, we are always rushing to the next book, the next lesson, the next goal. We have become experts at accumulating information, but we have often forgotten the art of integration. Wisdom is not found in the accumulation of knowledge. It is found in the embodiment of it. An embodiment happens in the pauses. It happens in the quiet moments of reflection, where we allow all that we have learned to settle, to organize itself within our being. and to move from the intellectual understanding of the mind into the deep, cellular knowing of the heart. Today, this chapter is our sacred pause. It is our collective deep breath, a moment to mindfully reflect on the vast and beautiful landscape we have traversed together. Our journey began with part 1, the foundation. This was the essential work of preparing the soil. We learned the gentle art of self-observation, of becoming the witness to our own minds. We connected with the gift of presence, anchoring ourselves in the here and now with our breath and our bodies. We tended to our outer world, clearing our spaces and unplugging from the noise, creating a sanctuary for our growth. Then we moved into part 2, inner harmony. Here we planted the sacred seeds of the heart. We redefined self-love as our foundation and learned the art of self-acceptance and self-compassion. We walked the courageous path of forgiveness for others and for ourselves. We learned to draw the circle of our healthy boundaries and to release the poison of resentment. And we filled our inner garden with the high-frequency energies of gratitude and kindness. From there, we expanded into part 3, energetic mastery. We embraced the paradigm that everything is vibration. We journeyed through the 7 chakras, from the grounding root to the expansive crown, learning the language of our own energetic anatomy. We demystified the art of manifestation and cultivated a success mindset rooted in inspired action and a belief in our own capabilities. This led us to part 4, purposeful living. We redefined success on our own soulful terms. We became detectives of our own lives, uncovering our passions and our gifts, and finding our unique purpose at the intersection of what we love, what we are good for, and what the world needs. We learned to set soulful goals, to plan with intuition, and to navigate the journey with persistence and resilience. And finally, we arrived here in part 5, expansion and integration. We have been exploring the most advanced and subtle arts of the spiritual path, the surrender of detachment, the trust in divine timing, the connection to our guides, and the magic of synchronicity. We have learned to embody our wisdom and to share our light. This has been a vast journey, and now the practice is simply to be still and allow it all to settle. True integration is not an act of trying to remember everything. It is an act of trust. It is trusting that the lessons you needed most have already taken root within you. The purpose of this entire series was never to give you answers. It was to help you ask better questions. It was never to tell you which path to walk, but to empower you to listen to the guidance of your own inner compass. The only true guru you will ever need is the voice of your own higher self. All that you have learned here are simply tools to help you clear away the noise so you can hear that wise, loving voice more clearly. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Your invitation for this final, reflective practice is to create your own integrated summary of wisdom. In your journal, take a full page for each of the 5 parts of our journey. Without overthinking or looking back, simply perform a brain dump for each part. What are the key lessons, the aha moments, the images, or the practices from each phase that have stuck with you the most? This is not a test. This is your soul showing you what has been most important for its own unique journey. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. Chapter 99, Living Your Awakened Truth. We have arrived together at this beautiful and poignant moment. We have journeyed through the valleys and peaks of the human experience, and we have done so with courage, with compassion, and with a deep desire to grow. And now, we must speak of the ultimate purpose of this entire path. It has all been leading to this, the simple, profound, and courageous act of living your awakened truth. Let us begin with the most important reminder of all. This journey was never about finding something that you lacked. It was never about fixing a part of you that was broken. The entire journey, from the first chapter to this one, has been about one thing and one thing only: remembering the magnificent truth of who you already are. You are not a limited human being searching for a spiritual experience. You are an infinite spiritual being having a temporary human experience. You are a divine spark of creation, inherently whole, unconditionally worthy, and infinitely powerful. This is your awakened truth. So what does it mean to live this truth, day in and day out? It means that your daily actions and choices become a direct and honest reflection of your core values. It means that your relationships are rooted in authentic connection, compassionate communication, in healthy, self-honoring boundaries. It means that you approach your work not as a means to an end, but as a sacred opportunity for service and self-expression. It means that you treat your body not as an object to be perfected, but as the precious and holy temple of your spirit. It means that you learn to trust the quiet guidance of your intuition and the benevolent flow of the universe more than you trust the loud and fearful demands of your ego. And it means that when you stumble, when you feel pain, when you make a mistake, you meet yourself not with harsh judgment, but with an unwavering and unconditional self-compassion. To live your awakened truth takes a quiet and profound courage. It will, at times, mean disappointing others in order to be true to yourself. It will mean having the strength to walk away from people, situations, and belief systems that are no longer in alignment with your soul's expansion. It will mean choosing, again and again, the quiet, sometimes lonely, path of your own heart over the loud, crowded, and well-trodden path of the collective. I want to offer you one final metaphor for this journey. I want you to see yourself as a lighthouse. A lighthouse does not run up and down the coastline, frantically trying to save individual ships. A lighthouse does not worry about whether the ships can see its light or whether they will heed its warning. A lighthouse has only one job: to stand firm in its foundation, to anchor itself to its rock, and to shine its light consistently and brilliantly out into the darkness. By committing to this journey, by doing your inner work, by healing your wounds and connecting with your spirit, you become a lighthouse. Your primary purpose is not to fix or save the world. Your primary purpose is to tend to your own inner light. By living your awakened truth, your very presence becomes a beacon. Your peace, your compassion, your authenticity, your joy. These become a guiding light for every single person you encounter, whether you ever speak a word of your journey or not. This is the beautiful culmination of our work. You came here seeking to find your higher self, and you have learned that you simply needed to uncover it. You came here seeking answers, and you have learned to listen to your own inner wisdom. You came here seeking light, and you have become it. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. For your final invitation, I ask you to write a love letter to your future self, dated 1 year from today. In this letter, describe the beautiful, courageous, and authentic ways you have been living your awakened truth. Write it in the past tense, as if it has already happened. Dear your name, it has been the most incredible year. I am so proud of the way you've honored your heart, spoken your truth with kindness, and trusted the journey. Seal this letter, put it away somewhere safe, and set a reminder on your calendar to open it 1 year from today. Let it be a sacred contract with your own becoming. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset, Chapter 100. The Awakened Path continues. For the final time in this journey we have shared, I say those words to you. We have arrived together at the end of our 100 chapters, at the end of this map we have so carefully drawn. But this is not an ending. It is a commencement. It is the beautiful, sacred moment where the formal learning ends and the true, embodied living begins. We have traversed the entire landscape of the self. We laid the foundation of presence and tended to the temple of our bodies. We journeyed into the heart and learned the languages of self-love, forgiveness, and compassion. We rose into the world of energy, tuning our chakras and learning the art of conscious creation. We walked the path of purpose, defining our success and aligning our actions with our soul. And finally, we have expanded into the great mystery, learning to trust, to surrender, and to connect with the divine wisdom that flows through all things. If I could distill this entire journey, all 100 chapters, down to a single essential truth, it would be this. The entire path was never about becoming someone new. It was always and only about remembering the magnificent truth of who you have always been. You are not a broken being in need of fixing. You are a whole and complete spiritual being who simply forgot your own divinity. This journey was an act of remembrance, an awakening to the light that was never, for one moment, extinguished within you. And now, the path continues. It continues not in these chapters, but in your life. It continues in the way you choose to meet your own heart when you are struggling. It continues in the way you choose to listen to a loved one. It continues in the way you choose to see the world, through the eyes of fear or through the eyes of love. As you walk forward from this space, I want to leave you with a few gentle reminders. First, trust yourself. You have cultivated a deep connection to your own inner wisdom, your own intuition. You are now your own guru. All the answers you seek are within you. Get quiet, listen, and trust the guidance you receive. Second, be patient and compassionate. Remember the spiral path. You will forget these lessons. You will fall back into old patterns. You will have difficult days. This is not a failure. It is a part of the human curriculum. When you stumble, the practice is not to judge yourself, but to remember the art of self-compassion, to gently take your own hand, and to begin again. And finally, live your lessons. This wisdom is not meant to be a collection of interesting ideas in your mind. It is meant to be a lived, felt reality. Embody your compassion. Act on your inspired ideas. Share your unique light. Be the love you have worked so hard to cultivate. On a personal note, from the deepest place in my heart, I want to thank you. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your commitment to your own growth. It is a profound act of service to the world to tend to your own inner light. It has been the greatest honor to be a guide and a fellow traveler with you on this sacred path. The title of this final chapter is The Awakened Path Continues. This series was simply the act of awakening. The path itself is your life, your beautiful, messy, imperfect, and sacred life. Walk it with reverence. Walk it with joy. Walk it with a heart wide open to the infinite beauty and love that surrounds you and that lives within you. This state of awakened, compassionate, and purposeful living is no longer something you are seeking. It is who you are. Welcome to the Luminara Mindset. For your final invitation on this shared journey, I ask you to write a sacred promise to yourself. In your journal, on a fresh page, write a gentle vow for your path forward. It might be a promise to listen to your intuition, a promise to meet yourself with compassion, or a promise to continue prioritizing your peace. Write it from the heart, sign it, and date it. Let this be the beautiful touchstone you carry with you as your own. Unique, awakened path continues.